afternoon, Rip City. Welcome in to Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. We are getting you ready for Trailblazers versus the 76ers here tonight in Moda Center. Michael Shacker trying to throw me for a loop. Last few nights, the intro song, I heard it, and I was like, okay, I can find something punny to come in with an intro, but now he played a song that I couldn't even tell you who sang that. It's like Chad listening to Bad Bunny. No, I have no idea what song that was. Don't know what's going on. But I do know that we're here in Moda Center. Blazers wrapping up their 5-game homestand tonight against the Philadelphia 76ers, and they are doing pretty good right now. Your Portland Trailblazers, after getting wins over the Memphis Grizzlies, much needed victories for Portland as they continue to solidify their spot in the play-in, at least. And we'll talk about that a little bit later throughout the show. We're also going to dive in at some point for you. We got to talk about the articles that are being written by many an author about the Blazers and the arena situation and the potential move to Seattle. Oh, no, I'm so scared. Man, I'm going to tell you why I think that's just a load of nastiness, a load of poo, if you will. I don't like it, and it's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you why. The chances of this team moving extremely low. I know that after perusing the interwebs, a lot of Blazer fans felt like they were on the edge here on Blazers Game Day. I'm going to do my best to talk you off of it. But first, we got to talk about how your Portland Trailblazers have been playing as of late. I do like the fact that the Memphis Grizzlies come to down. They get a back-to-back. They play them 2 games in a row. And even though they might have had a little bit of questionable performances throughout those games, the Blazers still got 2 much-needed victories, 135-115. A few nights ago on the 6th, and then 2 nights ago they beat them 122-115 in a night where they didn't have Scoot Henderson. He did make a season debut in that game on the 6th, didn't play the second of the back-to-back. Still don't have Denny Avdia. The Memphis Grizzlies had no one. They had no one. Their who's who was on the injured list. Santi Aldama, Ja Morant, Brandon Clark. They were all on the injured list. No Jaren Jackson Jr. because he had been traded. They were starting Meshack, Gigi Jackson, Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson, the ghost of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Ty Jerome. And the Memphis Grizzly team came out. I said this after the first game, and I'll say it after the second game too. You got to give that Memphis Grizzly team so much credit. They were outmanned. They were out-talented 1-to-1 in a vacuum in many spots. And they played a competent brand of basketball regardless. They found a way to at least make Blazer fans sweat for a second when you're trying to sit here and watch this game going, oh, no, they're not going to do what I think they're going to do, are they? They are not going to drop this game. Well, they didn't. The Blazers got the win, but the tenacity and the effort from that Grizzly team definitely made Blazer fans a little stressed out. Just a little stressed out. But I do like the fact that in that game, through that all, the Blazers were able to put it together, do what they needed to do. And they did a couple things not so great that we're going to talk about right now. First off, let's look at the box score from that last victory, 122-115 for your Portland Trailblazers. Points in the paint was 48-44 in favor of Portland. Big, huge, ginormous difference in this game. Second chance points. Portland had 24 second chance points to just 4 from the Memphis Grizzlies. When you do not have your full complement of players and you are missing guys who are good on the glass and you just traded away one of the best rebounding bigs in the game, you are leaving yourself open to get dominated, and that is exactly what happened. Portland out-rebounded the Grizzlies 48-36. 14 offensive rebounds for your Portland Trailblazers. They were led on the glass by Donovan Clingan, who had 19. What a performance from him. Looking at the Memphis Grizzlies box score, though, Gigi Jackson, Kyle Anderson, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope each had 11 points, 13 points from Ty Jerome, 22 points for Javon Small, and 25 points from Olivier Maxence Prosper. Also, it is Contavious Caldwell Pope. I don't know why I slipped of the tongue, Pulp. No, it's not orange juice, my man. Contavious Caldwell Pope. KCP. Taking a look at the Blazers side of things, Toumani Camara, 8 points. He is 3 of 10 from the floor, 7 points from Sidy Cissoko. He was also 3 of 10 from the floor. So 2 of your 5 starters combined to go 6 of 20. How do you rebound? How do you figure it out? What you need to do? How do you get out to a lead? Well, first off, you have a guy like Donovan Clingan who goes out there and drops 20 points, grabs 19 rebounds, gets 2 block shots, also had a steal, had 3 assists. He was incredible. Now, he did get beat on the defensive side a few times. Olivier Maxence Prosper was part of that, hitting those threes. Prosper was 7 of 8 from beyond the arc. But as you heard Tiago Splitter after the game, he talked about how that was definitely more just a scheme thing. It wasn't Donovan getting beat. It was us playing down in the paint too much, not getting up above the arc. That's what we wanted to do because he's so good blocking shots. We wanted to keep him down the paint where it's harder to score, and it bit us a little bit. We'll see if that changes tonight at all. They have to change that scheme. Jeremy Grant had 29 points for your Trailblazers. He was 6 of 10 from beyond the arc. 21 points from Drew Holiday, as someone put it on social media. I think it might have been Dan Meringue mentioned that, oh, that's right, the adults in the room are taking over, making sure the Blazers win. So Drew and Jeremy both with a good performances there. Caleb Love had 17 points off the bench, 10 points from Vit Krejci, and 10 points from Blake Wesley. Now, I did talk about some of the things that the team did bad, and I hinted at it just a little bit there with Donovan Clingan, and that is this drop coverage. They're playing drop. They're going under all the screens. They're leaving shooters open. You saw what happened there in Cleveland. Oh, we're going to go under every screen. We're going to keep our centers low. What's going to happen? They're going to get hot from deep. They're going to have a hard time keeping up. You're going to get beat up by Jared Allen because you can't get back out in transition. It's going to be a rough night. Then you get Memphis, and same thing in that game, Olivier Maxence Prosper. What was going on? Blazers were playing low. They were keeping their bigs in the paint. Donovan Clingan doesn't have that quickness to get from the paint to beyond the arc quick enough to get a hand in the shooter's face. Prosper's making threes. Young Hansen, same thing, probably a little bit slower than Donovan Clingan at getting out from the three-point line the paint to the three-point line. Same thing. Couldn't get out there. Couldn't get a shot or a hand in the shooter's face. He was doing the just jump up high midway through just to see if you can distract the shooter. It wasn't working. I've said this to you guys many a times, like Zach Collins when he was here. Yes, I get that he's injured and had ups and downs too, but one thing I did love about him when he was healthy is his ability to get from the paint to the three-point arc. Big, long steps, tall body. He could close out on shooters very, very well. So you didn't give up a ton. If you wanted to put him in the paint to play defense, he could still get out to the three-point line. You need to get that from Donovan Clingan. And if they're going to get into a space tonight, they being the Philadelphia 76ers, where their three-point shooters are getting open, then you just need to maybe switch that scheme up to force your bigs out there just a little bit. Maybe play him a little more in the mid-range, 15 feet away from the basket. Don't put him down and roam the paint too much. Get him in a spot where he can go back and forth when he needs to, because if you leave those three-point shots open, they will eventually start making them. They will come back to bite you. In fact, I think it's the reason that Memphis Grizzly team, despite all the injuries and despite everything working against it, was able to stay in that game and make it. I mean, it was just a 7-point game at the end of the night. It took Portland outscoring Memphis 34-19 in the fourth quarter. They ended that quarter down 8 points. They had to have a big quarter, and they did. But Memphis was 16 of 38 from beyond the arc. That's 42%. Portland had a good shooting night from beyond the arc, 21 of 51, or 41%, which is great for them. Keep in mind, we've hit this one many a time, the worst three-point percentage in the entire NBA. It was a good night for them, but it was a good night for Memphis, too. It's what kept them in the game. So defensively, Toumani Camara is doing great on ball. Drew Holiday's doing his thing. Vit Krejci's a little bit better than advertised. Not great, but better than advertised. Scoot Henderson looks good. Like, you got guys who can do it one-on-one. You got guys who can play and fight through picks and all that, but now schematically you got to put them in a spot to succeed as well. Fight over those picks. get out to the three-point line. I remember young Damian Lillard was asked by Shaq one day on like the NBA on TNT, like, hey, so what happens? Guy's defending you. What are you going to do if he goes under the screen? He goes, shoot it without hesitation. Shoot it. If he goes under the screen, I'm shooting it every single time. Get ready to defend it, Portland, because Philly's going to want to bring it to you. All right, this is Blazers Game Day. I'm your host, Chris Burkhardt. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to head to the Coach's Corner, hear from head coach Tiago Splitter, all right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Also, shout out to our English teachers in the chat. Versus sounded great. I feel heard. Sure, it sounds great, but sometimes it's my Hawaiian accent. I blame for the use of verse. But I told you it is a socially acceptable pronunciation of the shorthand written form. It's just English is crazy. It's crazy language. It gets the point across. I'll do my best to continue to make sure you are heard, though. I don't want to make sure all my listeners are heard. It is not me versus you, okay? It is us versus the world. We'll do this together. Joking aside, it's time to head down to the coach's corner.
Danny's going to probably be in. He's on the court right now, warming up, or soon. Rob is in. What am I forgetting? Okay.
Danny's it's been better for him, like he's able to get through stuff more.
Yeah, he's just feeling better. Moving with more freedom on his back and just working out, and just tell me that he was feeling good this morning. So, so he's gonna try now to warm up, do a good warm up, and go.
What are your thoughts on Dane doing three-point contest?
I was a little surprised, of course. He is not playing, but he, of course, is able to shoot 3 points. He's been shooting the whole season, and happy to see that. He's making a lot of shots during the workouts, and maybe 1,000 a day. So happy to see him there shooting the ball.
What do you expect to see out of Hansen in the Rising Stars game?
I hope he goes there and have fun. One of those games where it's kind of like tricky how serious they're going to play. But I hope he competes and plays hard and have fun.
How would you describe his growth? He started off at such a, with no experience at all. How have you seen him evolve to this point?
I think his body is changing. He got leaner. He's working hard. He really is. He's getting used to the NBA basketball in that regard, on the routines and how to prepare yourself every day and for games, traveling, all of that. The toughest part for him is, of course, we are competing every night and we want to win every night, and there's no just a young guy go there and have a lot of minutes and how some teams do. So we don't have that now for him. So I think, when he goes there, he's competing at a high level. He knows that we want, the max effort, the max focus. Sometimes it's hard, you've been out of the rotation, you go there for 3 minutes and you got to show that. And I told him, this is not easy. I've been in your position when I came to the league, and I was way older than him and with more experience. So it's not an easy situation, but he's just going to grow from this, keep working and improving. Yeah.
Since there are very few practices, and obviously he's not playing them, how does he do 2-on-2? Like, what does he do behind the scenes every day that we don't get to see?
The stay ready is the guys that play less minutes. They compete, they play. Sometimes we add coaches. Of course, he played in a G League a couple games, and those are the things that we are using to get him better. But of course, just the day-to-day things, like how we prepare games. He's watching what we do on the court and how to, get better individually, what people do, what their routines, and all those things that he got to learn. So it's a process.
What are some of the things the 76ers team does? What are some of the things the 76ers do that you guys will need to be prepared for tonight?
Yeah, they got a kind of like they play in two different ways. When Embiid is on the court, when he's off the court, when he's on the court, they target him and they look for him. When he's off the court, they're a completely different team. They play way faster. They play in transition. They kick ahead. They drive the paint. Maxi is being outstanding. Just watching him is unbelievable. He's playing 40 minutes a night, shooting threes, driving. Never gets tired. It's a very good player, so we got to be ready for him. And I think the role players around those two are great too. They got shooters, they got defenders, rim protectors. So it's an interesting team.
Hey, with the gift you guys gave Danny today, could you tell me the backstory about that? Like, how did that come to be? Your idea? Was it someone in the organization? Like, what's
it was like the organization. Of course, I don't know if you guys see it, but it's a glass ball with roses inside, and it's pretty cool, pretty nice. Just a detail, gift for a player that accomplished such a thing. So happy for him and happy for the organization too. And also I think it's the job that the whole team put together and helped Danny get to this point, right? So we all happy for him.
You didn't attempt to make it in the garage like you did in the box?
It was a little harder, that one. It was a little hard. Thank you.
There you hear from head coach Tiago Splitter. Sorry, he picked a terrible time to finish that presser, right, as I had to cough. But we got that out of the way. A couple things there. He said Denny probably will play, so we'll see what happens there. Scoot Henderson will be here tonight as well, so that will be nice to see. Also, shout out to our YouTube chatters. Devin's laughing. He says, sorry, Hawaiian accent got me. That's what I'm blaming for my use of verses. It is half jokingly, but also some of the things like Hawaiian pidgin English and the things you learn growing up that just stick with you. Like my wife always picks on me, so I never tell her to turn the light on. I tell her to put the light on. And it's just something that I grew up with. So my grandma and grandpa would, hey, Chris, you put the light on. Yeah, I got you, Grandpa. I'll go put the light on. Brah. Yeah, hey, you put the light on. I'll take care of you. Sometimes the Hawaiian accent is a thing. Man, my grandpa, man, he was an awesome guy. I wish he were still around. I'd throw him on a headset and have him come tell stories. But when he was yakking at me, his accent was so thick that I'd have to be like, what? What, Grandpa? And by the third time, I had to guess, and I was, oh, yeah, totally. Or, oh, yeah, I don't think so. And just hope that I guessed right because I didn't want to feel bad and keep asking him to repeat himself. I grew up with the man, and I still couldn't hear him sometimes, so it is kind of funny. But a shout-out to our English teachers, making sure I'm learning the difference between verse and verses. I still contend the verse is socially acceptable. Don't take from me. I'm just a journalism major, which doesn't hold a lot of weight when it comes to the English teacher. So I will start to listen, I promise you. All right, that was Tiago Splitter, though, back on track. Talking about Denny being available. I like that question about that basketball. Go onto the Trailblazers social media, and they did just this beautiful glass basketball with roses inside of it. It's almost putting off vibes of Kingpin, the rose basketball or rose bowling ball. Like, oh, yeah, good movie, by the way. But it is a really cool gesture that they were able to give Denny. And then the Blazers could go print money if they wanted to just go put those down there in the Rip City clothing stores, a little souvenir you could go buy. But definitely a cool gesture for him. And then you heard the questions about Damian Lillard, too. We haven't even got a chance to talk about that, but that was a little bit of a shock yesterday to find out that Damian Lillard is going to be in the three-point competition. Hasn't played a game all year long, likely will not play a game for the rest of the season. And three-point competition, he's going to show up anyway. I'll tell you what, he was out here warming up before the show. He was taking logo shots and made about eight out of every 10 he took. He did a little around the horn. His shot is still here, my friends. You don't have to worry about that thing. It ain't going anywhere. Speaking of the possibility of not going anywhere, if you've been on social media, the fear on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being everything is great, 2 being oh my gosh, what am I doing? I'm freaking out. The whole world's ending. Blazer fans have been at about a 9 or a 10 with certain articles out there and people peddling that the Blazers could be moving out of town. And I'm going to tell you what, I do not think that is the case. I'm going to tell you why. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you why Moda is still good, why it's showing its age, what things need to be renovated. From just my experience from being around the NBA and I've been to every single arena in the league except for Houston. Still need to check that one off my list. Even a couple arenas that no longer exist, like old Sleep Train Arena. Okay, so we're going to use that to tell you why Moda does hold up but still does need to be renovated, and why I do not think this team is leaving. We'll talk about when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620.
Chad doing here for Frost Brewed Coors Light. Tournament time is just around the corner.
Welcome back into Blazers Game Day. Chris Burkhardt here with you. pre-gaming it up as the Blazers will be taking on the Philadelphia 76ers here in just a little bit. Tip-off at 7 o'clock. Travis Demers is probably down in Studio C writing his notes. Chad Doing was getting ready. I'll be tossing the show over to him in about a half hour. But until then, we will continue to talk about this Blazer team, and I will at some point get you ready for the game. But it would be weird to not talk about one of the biggest stories going around social media today, and that is, of course, this is the week that the Blazers will go to the short session and then talk to the state and try to get funding for possible renovations to Moda Center. The Blazers were out ahead of this. They had a website pop up today with some possible renderings of what the arena could look like and all that jazz. Not the Utah Jazz, but they're trying to drum up a little bit of support. Bill Orm has written a couple articles about what the Blazers want and what they could expect, and then the fear-mongering of going to Seattle. And you've seen guys like the Godfather, who we love here in these parts on Rip City Radio, Dwight James, writing the same thing. You got to watch out for Seattle. And, well, I find it funny that, relocate to Seattle, relocate to Seattle. That's all we've been hearing for, like, the last 3-4 months. As soon as Dundon took over, people start peddling that because, fear and joy are two things that will get you clicks. Hate clicks work too. And you know what? As soon as you hired a new owner, gotta worry about moving. Let's get that content out there, get those clicks. And it's funny because it has been one of the worst kept secrets in the NBA that the NBA wants to go to Las Vegas and they want to go to Seattle, and that they want to do so via expansion, not relocation, which, interestingly enough, also in the news today was that the NBA tends to take to the board voting on possible expansion to those two cities over the summer. So if they expand and they vote on that, and then they start getting owners lined up and all that, you ain't worrying about relocation of the Blazers to Seattle, because expansion will be the way. I've argued long here that the NBA does not want to move its presence in the Pacific Northwest. It would like to add to its presence in the Pacific Northwest. Vancouver, which is just not really in the cards right now for various reasons, but they had a team, and that was right place, wrong time. The city has changed so much in those 20 years. They could totally have an NBA team right now. Seattle was right place, right time, never should have happened. Perhaps one of the biggest black eyes in the history of the NBA, honestly. A move that they do not want to replicate if they do not have to. And I think it would be optically, and I use that word very strongly here because optics matter. There may be one or two teams that are realistic candidates where I would think relocation would be a real thing. And that is New Orleans, who has one of, if not the worst arena in the league. That arena is bad. And then you have Memphis. And Memphis has different issues. They have a decent arena that holds up extremely well, been there many times. It is in a bad part of town, to the point that it is like right on Beale Street, historic Beale Street, and Beale Street is losing businesses because it is in a bad part of town. That's something you can't fix. So the city needs to invest in making that a safer place for fans to be all day long. Now that is a different problem than the arena. Seattle left because, we need an arena. Yes, they did. Key Arena was bad at the time, but getting the city to take on that vote when you had just built Safeco Field and you had just built what is CenturyLink Stadium and now Lubin Field, it was a hard ask. A lot harder than coming and saying, hey, the one big three franchise that you have, we want you to renovate your stadium. And it doesn't have the history of a Providence Park where, so you know what, you deal with those tight concourses on that side that's been there since like 1850. Yes, that's an exaggeration, but you get what I'm laying down for you. Now, I saw someone on social media tweet out, and this is why I brought this up, but, asking about those renovations. This is from an account called Blazers Lead, so a Blazers fan account, saying, for everything being thrown around about these stadium renovations, I haven't seen a reporter or politician actually pointing out a specific thing that is wrong with Moda Center as a reason why it needs to be renovated. And now I want to talk to you about a few things that I have noticed about Moda Center, well, as it compares to all these other arenas in the league that I've been to, many of which have been renovated. You look at all the arenas that were built around the same time as Moda Center, the what was Talking Stick Resort Arena in Phoenix and Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. They're all going through their renovations. You got Capital One Arena in Washington, where they were floating the idea of building a new arena, but have since decided to renovate that one. It's actually I don't know why, but I like that arena because of the building laws in Washington with how high buildings can be. You don't have skyscrapers. You don't have all those high buildings. I'm being very, very expressive on this radio show here. I'm getting picked on for my hand movements. But no, you don't have the buildings that go to the sky. So it's like 3 stories tall. It looks crazy. It just blends in. I love the design. But things that Moda needs renovated that don't hold up. First off, concourses, extremely small. Extremely small. Now, they were big for the time it was built. Go to Veteran Memorial's Coliseum, and you see the difference in concourse size. Now, the 300 level up here, when I went to Oracle Arena, former home of the Golden State Warriors, their main concourse was smaller than what the 300 level gives you up here. Now, the 100 level down below, not big either. You need to fix that. That's one of the things that does not hold up. All the bottlenecks and everything when it comes to getting in and out of the arena. The experience out front, when I get done with the show and I go down the stairs and I can see right out to the main area where there's just a line of people because the way it bottlenecks to get in this arena, those are things you can renovate. Some of the new arenas have great atriums as you walk in. It's just a big, grand feel as soon as you step in the arena. Those are things that could happen here as well. A lot of the things you're seeing with modern stadiums, you see this at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. You see this with the renovations they did in Atlanta. You see this if you ever go down to Golden State or Sacramento, which is a beautiful arena, is building these stadiums now so that everything concession-wise is no longer on the court side of the wall. They're on the outside of the wall, and it's open air. So if I am going up and it's the middle of the action, but I really want to go get my my pretzel, I can walk up, I can get it, and the entire time I can still see down. I can still see the big screen. I can still see down to the court. I can see the fans. So when you get up and go get a drink or get a meal, it doesn't feel like you left the action. Here it feels like you left the action. There's a big wall between you and the game. So when you leave, where the game's going on, I got to find a TV. At these newer stadiums, when you're never leaving. At the game is inside the building. Everywhere you go, you feel like you're in. Those are some things that need to be fixed. The locker room, one of the smallest home team locker rooms in the NBA. Easily the smallest visiting team locker room in the NBA. Now, I know that we're not here to make sure the visiting team is comfortable all the time, but there are visiting locker rooms that I have been into around the league when I used to travel with the team, was always doing the post-game interviews in the locker room. There are visiting locker rooms that are bigger than the Blazers' home team locker room. So there's the thing where it comes to the comforts of the players. So that's something you could look into. Obviously, they've already put money into the video boards and the new scoreboards around. So those are great. And then you just redo your entire seating bowl. Now, that's what they did in Utah. Where they gutted the entire inside and just rebuilt it over a summer. And, again, if you build up rather than out, with the ends here at Moda Center are built a little bit out. Not as bad as Dallas, which feels like a football stadium with how out it's built rather than up. But if you build a little more up, you can get bigger concourses. And you have area around here to grow and build out the arena a little bit too. So those things are things that you can create and build upon. And as I tweeted, quote tweeted, that particular tweet, and he said, hey, come tune in, I'll talk to you about it. Then Torrey Jones, friend of the show, tweeted at him too. Moda holds up very, very well for being built in 1995. All the other stadiums that were built around it did not hold up as well as Moda did, and they all got their renovations, and now they look leaps and bounds better than they did. But just because Moda holds up well does not mean that it has the modern feel that every other arena has now. Phoenix put some real good money into theirs. You feel like you're at a modern arena. Obviously, the rebuilds in Sacramento and Golden State, Milwaukee, Barclays Center is a great one. And then you have all the other ones that instead of that went into renovations, like Amway Center in Orlando has put a lot of money in that stadium over the years. Not a bad place to go watch a game. So if you, as I put it, good analogy or not, if you show up to a black tie fair and everyone else is wearing suits and you're showing up in a plain white tee, the plain white tee does the job. You're clothed, but you stand out a little bit for all the wrong reasons. So Moda holds up well. I will give it that. I absolutely think it holds up well, but it definitely shows its age and can be fixed. And on that idea of bigger concourses and the sight lines. Like Sacramento, you walk into the main entry to get in, and because of the way it's built with the sight line, you can see through to the scoreboard and the court when you're outside the arena. That's awesome. One of the things that was talked about in the renderings that they're dropping is maybe a viewing experience outside. Now you saw that when Toronto was in the NBA Finals. People showing up to Jurassic Park out there outside the stadium, watching the game outside the stadium. They have that outside Chase Center in Golden State where you can see the game while you're standing outside. Those are cool little features around the arena that can bump it up as well. And then if you ever get to the point where you start investing into the area around it, because that's really the new age of arenas, not just NBA arenas, but Major League Baseball is really, really leaning into this as well. Dwight and I have really have talked about it many times when we were hosting the River City Drive about the Battery Atlanta, the district that they built the new baseball stadium in, where it has shopping and movie theaters and restaurants all around it, and you can go there on a non-game day, and it's popping. People are down there. It's become more of a district, a hub. They're trying to do that with Chase Center. Golden One Center is right by a mall, and there's restaurants and all of those. So those are things that you can do in the long run. So again, Moda Center holds up. Yes, Moda Center still shows its age and can be better. So yeah, if you gutted the bowl, redid that, and built this with sightlines so you can see down to the arena at all times. You have a bigger entryway, a bigger, grander feel. You feel like you're walking into something that was built post-Y2K. Those little features will go a real long way. And then maybe you do, the Clippers thing and just boast that, we actually made sure that the new Moda Center has one more bathroom, one more toilet than the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles. That'd be kind of funny, honestly. I'd laugh a little bit. But you go down to Staples Center. Staples Center's one that one holds up for where it was built. Its concourses feel bigger. There's also a vibe, though. Madison Square Garden and Staples Center, they will get through on nostalgia for a really long time. Like Madison Square Garden, someone asked me, do you love that arena? I was like, it's a dump, but I still love watching a game there. Nostalgia pops matter. That's pretty cool. But they've also put money into it the best they can. There's something cool about just walking out to an arena and being in the middle of New York City. But point is, you look at all these other stadiums who've tried to build. We either want a new arena, we want renovation, or we're going to move. What have they all got? They either got new stadiums or they got renovated. I don't think Portland will be any different. And back to my whole idea about leaving Seattle being one of the biggest black eyes on the league in the last 3 decades. Do you really think that the NBA wants to fix its biggest black eye by doing exactly what they did to Seattle to another franchise to get a team back in Seattle? That is not a black eye. That is a double black eye KO. You ain't getting back up off the mat. Optics. It's a word I used at the beginning of this segment. Optics. Optically, that would look terrible. Terrible. That is why I do not believe for a second that the Blazers are going to Seattle. I think they're going to go through this. I think the Dundon and Co. are going to get their money, and I think the chances are Moda gets renovated. And I can't wait to be here for it. I won't even be mean and tell you I told you so. I will do everything I can, just like you guys, to make sure we have Blazers in Portland for a very, very long time. As I talked to a member of the Memphis staff when the idea of relocation was brought up while they were here, he said, "Are you kidding me? You guys are the fabric of this community. the NBA won't let that happen. And that was a guy who's been in Memphis for 3 decades, understanding how important Portland and Rip City are together. Take that for what it's worth. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, keys to the game. What do the Blazers need to do to beat the Philadelphia 76ers? I'll let you know. Thank you for listening to my rants, by the way. I hope that talked you off the ledge. Don't go anywhere. Play more coming up here after the break on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Oh, no. Perfect. Gotcha. I'm still on. I'm going to talk to YouTube for a second, so don't get thrown off by me. Yeah. Because Dogcatcher was putting some good comments in here, and I didn't get a chance to comment on them. So let's take a second here to look at what he's laying down. Turn that headset down. Way too loud in my ear for a second. Wasn't the Pyramid and Arena where the Grizz once played, the place that's now a Bass Pro Shop? What is up with Memphis and bad arena choices? Yeah, they did play. They did play in the Memphis Pyramid. That was a trip. I really wish I would have been able to see a game down there. I haven't. I've been in FedEx Forum many times. The river. So if the Mississippi flooded, it flooded. But yeah, you're right. Now it is a Bass Pro Shop, and that's pretty wild to see when you go in there. And the thing is, like, FedEx Forum is not a bad arena. Like, it's a nice arena, and it holds up well. Like, I've been there. I like the behind the scenes that we have to deal with, like the media dining, the seating, media seating there's good. Those things that you don't think of, yeah, they're good. The sight lines, the seats, the viewer experience is good. It's just in a bad part of town. And when I was talking to those people from Memphis, they were just talking about how, the crime situation right now in downtown Memphis is not good, especially in that part of town where that stadium is. And they have, I think their lease is up in like a year, and they don't want a new stadium. They just want the city to invest in making where they're at safer for families and everyone to come in. And it's one of the best situations for media. The hotel you stay at is literally right across the street. So there's you just walk in, you're done. You're done. You just walk straight to the hotel. But those are things that they're worried about, and that's unfortunate because that's not something that they can completely control. But it's not the possibility of them ever being a relocation candidate is 100% like not arena related, which most relocations are. And that just sets it up just a little bit different. Jason says, good weekend for the Blazers, at least. Yeah, better than it was for, me being a Niner fan, having to watch Seattle win. Boy, they deserved that victory, though. I'm not one of those guys who's like, oh, my favorite team didn't play some of their rivals, blah, blah, blah. No, man. They played a heck of a football game. Deserved that. They deserved it. They defensively locked in. I'm going to shut up for a second, though, because we're almost back on radio, so I'll be right back, my friends. Need to do to beat the Philadelphia 76ers. And I did get one of the chatters ask, is Embiid playing? And they're still up in the air. I haven't seen the official report on him yet. I was looking, hadn't seen it from PR. But if he plays, that changes everything because, unfortunately, Donovan Clingan, as good as he was against Memphis, has not been playing great when it comes to playing really good centers. I mean, Jarrett Allen absolutely cooked him. Mark Williams, when Phoenix came to town, had himself a pretty good game. And then I love the fact that he got 17 rebounds and then 19 rebounds in those 2 games against Memphis, but he should have. They had no one out there playing center or cleaning the glass, so he should have had those games. Tonight, if you get Embiid, that completely changes everything. And can you guard him? He can spread the floor. He can shoot it down low. He can shoot in the mid-range. It's going to absolutely stretch Donovan Clingan. So for the Blazers to win this game, they're going to need the best out of Donovan Clingan. They're going to need a heck of a game out of him. Defensively, I want to see what Coach Splitter does. Do you continue to sit in those drop coverages? Are you going under every single screen? Because you shouldn't. Well, yeah, let's just drop behind the screen, or why not? We'll recover on the back end. No, you ain't recovering. And they're shooting the ball. Don't give up those three-pointers. They will come back to bite you. You can't afford it. And if you're the Blazers against a team like Philadelphia, that is a very good basketball team. Yes, you look at them and they're not the Knicks and they're not the Celtics, and they've had their ups and downs in the standings. Dealing with injuries just like Portland has. Obviously, when guys like Embiid are in and out, and you lose guys like Paul George to the breaking the substance abuse policy for the NBA, but they're still sitting there at 6th in the East. They're 30-22. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're a good ball club. So you're going to need Donovan Clingan to go out. You're going to have to absolutely lean on the things you do good, which is rebounding. And quite frankly, even though they won that battle against Memphis, I thought the Blazers could have been better on the glass, because they should have beat that team by 20. They shouldn't have allowed a single offensive rebound. They had no centers in there, and you had big bodies. Go in there, take advantage of it. Now, against this Philadelphia team, too, one thing you're going to need to do if you're the Blazers is be really, really smart with the ball, and don't force the issue there. Don't turn the ball over and hurt yourself, because Philly's not going to give you a lot of opportunities. They don't turn the ball off a lot. They are 5th in the NBA when it comes to fewest turnovers. So defensively, you're going to have to be locked in and make sure you make them work and maybe force a couple more than they're used to. But the point is, because they don't turn the ball over, that means you're not usually putting yourself in a situation where you're getting a lot of steals and points off those turnovers, and they're not giving you free buckets. They're taking advantage. On the flip side of that, they also are top 10 in the league in steals. And for a team like Portland that turns the ball over a lot, in fact, dead last in the league at 17.1 per game, a team that comes in top 10 in steals, is going to stick it to you defensively. Ball security, being aggressive on the glass, and how good Donovan Clingan and Robert Williams and Young Hansen, whoever gets in there at the 5 spot, can close the gap to the three-point line, I think are going to be absolutely crucial to how good this Trailblazers team can be tonight. Those are going to be my keys to the game. The glass, ball security, and then what Donovan Clingan and co can do at the three-point line. Because, again, if you got a guy like Joel Embiid actually playing, he can space the floor. It makes it completely different than what you are used to. I mean, not every big is a floor spacing big. They all think they are, but when you get guys that can actually do it, it's going to hurt you. And the difference is, too, you saw what happened when Jared Allen was here. A guy who could shoot that three ball, and he did, but he also cooked you down low. I mean, cooked you down low. Well, Joel Embiid's a better center down low, too, than Jared Allen. So those are the things you got to look at and be ready for. And, of course, as of yesterday, he was listed as day-to-day. Still haven't seen an official update, though, but I guarantee you Chad will have one for you. Coming up next, music means it's time to go for me, not for you. Keep it locked in, because coming up next, like I just said, Chad Doing has your Trailblazers pregame show across the Trailblazers audio network. And then he'll hand the mic off to Travis Demers at 7 o'clock for Blazers versus 76ers here in your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. And when it's all said and done, keep it locked in for the 5th quarter, where hopefully we're breaking down a Trailblazers victory. Blazers, Sixers, coming up tonight here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio. Rip City, I'll talk to you after the game.